Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. So today, there will be no MLW today, due to the fact that, as you know, this coming weekend we're heading to Fury Road, which is going to be an interesting pay-per-view event. But that doesn't mean I have to stop from there. That means I'm going to be, in fact, reviewing Impact Wrestling. As you know, we entered their fallout after Emergence. As you know, Trinity Fatu retained her Knockouts title, however, it appears there's a number one contender that is now rising the occasion. We'll see how that turns out. And of course, the Rascals continue to be like all that with the tag team titles and everything else. And of course, for Ring of Honor, we have some interesting matches that are taking place. However, the main event features the ROH World Six Man Tag Team titles on the line. Can the Mogul Embassy be defeated once and for all? Will the challengers be up for the task to do that? We'll find out as well. And of course, we have some news updates that tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are in fact putting out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course we have any injured wrestlers, any signed wrestlers, the whole enchilada. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. So we'll be doing a lot of daily reviews from various promotions of your favorite pro wrestling promotion you guys enjoy. And also we got some other stuff that we'll put out, such as discussions. So if you like this channel, please subscribe to us. We'll be getting a lot of daily episodes for reviews and whatnot. And if you like this episode, please give us a like in the bottom or a nice little comment in the bottom as well. Now, our first review is Impact Wrestling. Now, as you all may know, we are now in the fallout of the Emergence pay-per-view that took place this past Sunday. Now, as you may know, Trinity retained the Knockouts title against Deonna Purrazzo, which was a pretty amazing match. But the obvious question does tell who will be the next line. So they came up with this idea for a 10 knockouts battle royale to see who will be the one to get a shot of the Knockouts World title. Now, you have Alicia Edwards, some other people that were involved. We got MK Ultra, Killer Kelly, Masha Slamovich, the Death Dolls, Savannah Evans, and Kylie King, Jody Threat. So you have plenty others. Now, to me as a fan, I would have thought maybe it would have been someone stronger. Now, at the closing moments, you might have thought, okay, either it's going to be Colin King or Jody Threat. Things would have been that way, but what we did not calculate is Alicia Edwards took advantage by hiding herself without being seen, acting out that she was eliminated, but she eliminated both Threat and Colin King in hopes that now she will be getting a shot of the Knockouts title. Now, I hardly believe that she's going to win that match, but that match will take place in Victory Road. Now, our next thing we see, of course, is the Motor City Machine Guns. Now, recently they've been, as you know, everything that happened of late. Of course, Saban has his issues towards Leo Rush, but Josh Alexander said that he's willing to take the ball for what happened, that he left his team behind and all this. He knows that right now, at the moment, he has to deal with, of course, Steve Maclin, because the history between those two is unfinished. As you know, Steve Maclin has never beaten Josh Alexander, even when he tried to beat him for the Impact World title, that's been eating him too. So that's that. However, the Rascals who come out saying that they are the best tag team, running their mouths and all that, but of course the Motor City Machine Guns, we're not going to tolerate with them trying to this how do I say, defame what the title's meant for them. So that's been pretty much the case right there. So apparently Chris Sabin decided to have a match against Zachary Wentz. So that's always been the clear cut. So it was already decided. Now, Crazy Steve, as you know, he went crazy during a 3-week interview that they showed about his life. Even Tom is still mortified about about the story and all this. He was supposed to be facing off against Mike Bailey, but apparently Crazy Steve went out of control. Referee called the match off, knowing that Crazy Steve was going beyond. Now, when you have someone either by the ropes or anywhere in the court, you have 5 seconds to break away, or else the match will be called. So that's what happened. But Steve was out of his freaking mind. He had a fork try to poke out the eyes, and then Black Taurus was trying to reason with him, tried to tell him to stop, but of course he gouged out his eyes. Security come around, so that sort of thing happened. So we will see a feud between Steve, who has now gone the rails on this one. Now, Myers, Moose, and Edwards are set to the team up later on in the evening against who was it? Frank Kazarian and who else? Oh yeah, and I think the Motor City Machine Guns. No, Sonata and Jake something. However, Bully Ray, who, as you know, has been on a run with the sudden arrival of PCO, who he tried to get rid of. Now, Moose and Myers made it clear this mess that he got himself in PCO is his problem. Now, Myers and Moose played the smart game, saying, look, we didn't have a problem with PCO. You did. So basically, they left him alone on that. So basically, he's on his own. Now, if you're a big Will Ospreay, you may have heard the news that he will be making appearances on 2 different occasions. On the 21st, he will be at Bound for Glory, and on the 27th in Newcastle in the UK, he'll be in Turning Point. Now, Bully Ray, as you know, he continues to be on the run for PCO. He tries to reason with them, tried to get them to back off a bit, but nothing's going to hold PCO down. But later, it was foretold that Bully Ray will face PCO at Victory Road a week from tomorrow. Now, as you know what happened, Eric Young had a high successful match against Diener, defeating him. But however, Diener's right hand or big hand or whatever he is to him, Khan shows up to get a measure of revenge. This match was a very difficult match for Eric Young. He knows he's trying to face a much bigger and stronger competitor. He even power drived them outside the ring in hopes that possibly a countout could hold him. But of course, Khan, who asked him, begged him to finish him off, which he did with the power driver, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it is done. Now, Leo Rush, as you know, he still has his issues towards Chris Sabin. So he sent a direct message telling him, you're having a match with Zachary Wentz. What is that? But he was interrupted by, of course, the winner of Ultimate X. We're talking about Kushida. Now, as you know, Kushida can cash in a shot of the X Division title whenever he wants. So he actually called the shot at Victory Road. Now, this is going to cause a problem for Leo Rush. Now, a while back, Leo Rush did say that he has the opportunity, or I said the ability to cash in option C. That is what he said. Now, if you're new to the channel and don't know what option C is, let me explain. Option C is where it means you give up your title and you'll have an opportunity for the Impact World title. It has been done before. I've seen at least maybe 3 people in my entire life that actually pulled it off. The first one was Austin Aries. Second was Chris Sabin. and then of course Josh Alexander. And now Leo Rush is the fourth that I know of that is going to do it. But however, could cause a bit of the plans what Leo Rush does. So we'll see what happened in Victory Road. Now, as you know, Deonna Purrazzo, Gia Miller did say that she did not get what she wanted to regain the Knockouts title. But the one thing that was not bothering her was the other part that did. As you know, it was announced that Jordynne Grace was making her return. So this bothered Deonna Purrazzo, saying that, that she's taking an expense of her coming back and all that. So basically, now these two had been enemies before. They have wrestled each other in the past, but now it seems that Deonna is not. She felt that Jordynne Grace just took advantage of this, how things were going. So we'll see how that plays out. Until then, that match will happen in Victory Road. Now, Zachary Wentz versus, of course, Chris Sabin. You probably would have thought this match was going to be a lot of cheating things to Wentz and Trey. Luckily, it did not. I mean, of course, the Rascals have been known to cheat recently since they reunited. But, however, it was the Cradle Shock that actually made the huge difference to put them away. Now, speaking of tag team division, the ABC, as you know, they're still gunning for the tag titles. But however, they continue to imply that the Good Hands had something to do with it. The Good Hands claimed there is nothing going on with them. But of course, the ABC are not going to believe them. I mean, the Good Hands is kind of like saying you guys are hired hands, that sort of thing. But we'll see more about that. Now, the tag team division has become hotter now with the Rascals as the tag team champions. It seems the Subculture are asking for a rematch. So they went to see, of course, the Director of Authority, Santino, and of course Callahan, and of course Rich Swann want a piece of that, so they decided to give them a match. But it's not for the tag titles. I think they're trying to see who will be more hungry. But it appears that the new team, Joya, consistent of Uemura and of course Joe Hendry, want a piece of it. So, but apparently they're being not stonewalled, but more like being put to the side for the time being. But as I said before, they better pick up some good wins along the way. Now, Kenny King, as you know, giving a promo of what's going on about his match. However, Tommy Dreamer decided to set the record straight of what happened. Now, if you guys are known, that both Dreamer and Swinger have been friends for almost 20 years. Now, Tommy Dreamer, of course, explained that, that Swinger was not in his right state of mind. Apparently, there's been some family business that was happening and all that. So there's that. So Kenny King apologized for not realizing. But however, Tommy Dreamer does the unthinkable. So he decides that he's going to challenge for the TBS title, but the digital media title. But however, he'll put his career on the line. So I don't know if that's a great advice, but we'll see how that rolls out. Now, Gail Kim put out a very interesting thing. Now, as you know, we have the following day after Victory Road, Impact 1000. She calls out the knockouts from past or present to either stand by them or against them. And that's pretty interesting to see. Now, our main event features Moose, Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards taking on Frankie Kazarian, Jake Something, and Sonata. I thought it was a pretty good match. I think a very interesting one. However, as you know, Eddie Edwards is still saying that he is that he has learned a lot better than Frank Kazarian. But in the end, it was Jake Something who pulled off the win with the Into the Void onto Myers, giving him the win. So I think that's pretty much it. So we'll see what happens next week. And then don't forget, we have Victory Road. So let's move on with Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor opened up with the IWGP World Television title on the line. We have the King of the Ropes, Metalik, taking on Zack Sabre Jr. Now, this is going to be interesting as well. Two different styles. Now, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. could adapt to any style that steps in front of him, which is no secret. But however, how will he top against a guy who uses the rope as a way to leverage himself out? Well, that's very simple. He'll try to apply many submission moves in order to keep him down on the ground, which he did. First, he applied the Fujiwara armbar, but he later grabbed the other arm and then applied more pressure in order for, of course, Metalik to give up and allow for Zack Sabre Jr. to retain his title. Now, in an interview, as you know, recently we have been seeing Maria Kanelli starting up an army again. Amongst the recruits is Cole Carter. Now, of course, Cole is asking why is it that Layla Hirsch got better opportunity, but of course Maria will do the same thing for Cole to ensure that they make it to the top. That's always been clear from day one. Now, our next match features Josh Woods, who's been well recognized as one of the best pure wrestlers right now, but also facing a guy who's been well known in the pure wrestling style, John Walters, who recently was a judge on a previous pure rules match or title match, whatever it was. But of course, this was going to put interesting match for Josh Woods to get some reps into this one. But of course, it was Josh Woods with a submission. I don't know what exactly he did, but it did apply him to pick up a good victory against John Walters. But he did mention that he is the best wrestler, so he wants more competition. So I'm sure that his weasel of a manager, Starling, will try to get him to do that. Now, we have been witnessing this three trios recently. We have the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry and JD Drake teaming up with Tiger Style, Lee Moriarty. They take on Lord Crew, Invictus Cash, and Beef. Now, we have seen how well these three have worked together, but in the end, of course, in this case, it was a very hectic combination with a moonsault by JD Drake onto Beef to pick up a good win. So I'm sure that right now with Moriarty and the Workhorsemen together, I'm sure they will pick up some wins in order to hopefully apply for the trios title. So that would be something I'm sure they would definitely like to have. Now, Cole Carter along with Maria take on Dustin Jacobs. Of course, this was going to fall into, Cole Carter to pick up the win and all that. But of course, the commentators think that maybe Cole Carter has a different idea of what's been going on. But hopefully he doesn't think that way, or else Maria's going to be so pissed. And you can't have that. Now, our next match, we have Emi Sakura taking on Alice Crowley, and I thought it was a very good way. I think this is the first time in Ring of Honor she's ever been in, but yes. But of course, her reputation precedes her, being not only a wrestler but also a trainer. But she did pick up a win when she applied a backbreaker onto to Cromwell. Just like that, it was over. Now, we have the Spanish announce team, Serpentico and Angelico taking on the Outlanders, Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. We have seen recently the Serpentico and singles competition, but I cannot recall if he ever teamed up with Angelico. I know that he, Luther, and Serpentico, all three of these guys are part of the Spanish announced project, but it was pretty interesting to see those two pick it up. But it was, of course, Helico with a submission move onto Floyd to pick up the win. Excuse me. But yes. Next up, we have Marina Shafir taking on Angelica Risk. Well, you know how that turns out. That match ends with submission. That's always been the case. Now, our main event is the ROH six-man tag team titles. Mogul Embassy taking on Lee Moriarty and Lee Johnson, Action Andretti, and Darius Martin. I thought this match was pretty great. I mean, I have to say that many of us might have thought in our godforsaken minds that, of course, these guys were going to finally be the ones to dethrone the Mogul Embassy since they've been dominant. But, however, that wasn't the case. They swung Johnson to cage to apply powerbomb. 1, 2, 3, just like that. Mogul Embassy once again reigned supreme, continue to show their dominance in the six-man tag team division. So we'll see who will be the ones to dethrone him. Right now, I think we're done with Ring of Honor, so let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have. Um, More names have been announced for the West Coast pro wrestling event on the 14th of October. West Coast Pride, which is the 5-year anniversary, they announced the bounty hunter Brian Keith will be in action on that particular day. So will be Speedball Mike Bailey. Now, Rocky Romero, as you know, this was reported by Fightful Select that he is thinking about considering bringing back New Japan Strong. Now, those who never heard of New Japan Strong, this was a show that they put in weekly during Saturdays. It only lasts for an hour, but they do big events and all this other stuff weekly. So I'm sure that they stopped this completely, but I'm sure that many American fans will love to see this show a lot. I mean, I really did like it. Not gonna lie, but we'll see what happens until he wants to make this a weekly format. So, and if Rocky can pull it off, then I'll applaud him. Um, Ganjo, or as we know, Ganbare Joshi, has announced for their 17th of September event, we have Yuri versus Aruka Umasaki. Now, this was an interesting match for me because I did consider when I did a DWZ discussions about Yuri, I did stated that I do believe that she is the future ace of Ganbare Joshi. For many reasons why. I did mention because she was praised to ensure that Ganbare Joshi did not been shut down after Yuna Manase was injured. But as for Aruka Umasaki, some people now believe since she won the Diana World title that she is the future ace of the promotion of Diana. The last ace they had was none other than Saray, the Warrior of the Sun, or as we know her now as Sari. So we could see two potential future aces face off, and I think that's going to be interesting to see. Now, Naito, you guys may have heard, he had this interesting thing that he posted on New Japan. He said this: I definitely feel I have a lot further to go yet. At the same time, I know my time is limited. I have knee troubles, eye troubles. The end of the line that I imagined retirement that was so far away for so long is now coming into focus. Naito. Now, yes, it's true. He has some bad knees. If you guys ever seen his knees taped up underneath the knee pads, that was one in the case. Yeah, many wrestlers had continued wrestling a very long time. I mean, one of Naito's heroes, Keiji Muto, had to retire at the age of 59. He was planning to go a little longer, but it seems maybe there's a possibility for Naito. He feels like the end is near because of how he is, with his vision and his knees and all that. So we'll see how that goes. Interesting things have now been announced for the 5-star Grand Prix. Now, for Stardom, this is what we do know. They will have New Blood 11 taking place on the 29th of September. And then, of course, the following day is the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix. So that's going to be interesting. And then, of course, the following day, they will have a Cork and Hall. However, this was a note. People are saying because of Tony Khan announcing a brand new show, a show called Wrestle Dream that will feature New Japan wrestlers. There was talk to people with the possibility that Stardom talent will be making their appearance. Well, unfortunately, it's not going to happen due to the fact that they will be busy at another because of this. This is going to happen on that very same time, one day prior before that. So, looks likely it's not going to happen. Now, recently, if you guys know this, Starlight Kid is saying, since she has a match in the 5-star Grand Prix for this coming Saturday, why not make the match for the red belt since she's facing Tam Nakano. Now, I don't see any problems towards that. I mean, Tam does know Starlight Kid pretty well, so right now the ball is in her court, from my understanding. But however, there was some interesting say that what's her name, Starlight Kid did stated. This is what she had to say. I will fight Tam on September 3rd if it's were a title match. I firmly remember fighting Tam for the white belt 2 years ago. I envy Tam about her having the red belt now. Throughout this match, I will destroy the stereotypes that you will have have about me. So yes, Starlight Kid did have challenged the white belt before and lost. This was during the five-star Grand Prix 2 years ago. I remembered it completely. So now it seems like another deja vu has happened. So, but I kind of wonder what does what's her name, Natsuko Tora thinks of it. But I'm sure she's okay with the idea. Now, as you know, the issue was announced that Risa Sera has challenged Julia for the New Japan's Strong Women's title. However, Julia made a very unusual request towards Risa Sera, but it has nothing to do with the match. Well, it kind of, but in a way that made us understand. She said this: "Don't get married again." Yeah. Now, some of you may ask, why would she say that? Now, I did stated that Risa Sera and Julia knew each other from their Ice Ribbons days. Uh, Julia did debut with that promotion in 2017, but this is what Julia said before. This is what she had to say. Before the match, she told me, let's set 3 goals for today's match. When I told her after the match I couldn't do it, she said, let's work harder next time, which I never forgotten. I still practice in important matches. She was admired. Then, of course, she was admired by Risa Sera, but until something changed in 2019, around that time, that's when Risa Sera got married, and this is what she said. This is what she said. After she got married, she made a statement that she hinted at retirement, such as "I'll quit when I'm this old," or she would show how devoted herself training Suzuki was. I thought she was a pathetic person because she couldn't make her goal to be someone who's decided when to end. Now, as you know, last year she made her appearance at Stardom, issuing a war against her and all this other stuff. Now, she said this: she is divorced, and Zuzu had left prominence, and now she has nothing to protect. So she has no choice but to wrestle. That's why I think she has become a cool Risa, and I felt that she was when I was younger. I don't want Risa Sera who's taken a step back, so please don't marry again. I'm looking forward fighting the current Risa Sera. So she feels certain things about Risa Sera. She felt that ever since she got married, she was holding back. So I have to say, I don't know if that was true. I mean, she was still pretty much violent, as always. I don't know why she has this. I always did say that Julia is a bit delusional on her own opinions of what she thinks of others and all that. I mean, Risa Sera, I don't consider that she was taking a step back. I mean, she was still Risa Sera as I've been remember watching. But I don't know what you guys think of that. Do you guys think Risa Sera did got soft after she got married? Well, I don't know, but we'll see about that. So I can't wait to see this match take place. It will happen soon enough by I don't know when, but yes. So we'll see what happens. Until then, I think this is about. I think we should call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. Now, I haven't decided if I'm going to be reviewing another show, but we'll see what happens until then. So I'll leave it as that for now. But I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. and have a nice day. Bang.